What's up, guys? How's it going? It's John at Gamester81. This video, I want to share with you my experience attending the Sac Gamers Expo. This is the third year, I believe, that this show has been going on in Sacramento, California. Really appreciate the invite to be a guest. Had a fantastic time. The people are amazing. The hosts of the show, the people who run the show are really cool guys. And I want to share with you the kind of vendor hall. And I had a panel, which went great. I shared it with other fellow YouTubers. It was an awesome experience. So I just want to show you what the vendor hall was all about, share with you a little bit about my experience going to the Sac Gamers Expo. If you guys live by one of these shows that do retro gaming shows, I really encourage you guys to check it out. They're really good times just to meet people and buy games, of course, and hang out. Thanks for watching. Let's take a closer look. What's up? So this is Sac Gamers Expo. This is in Sacramento, as I mentioned before. This is the third year the show's been going on. Really cool show. I'll put a link below to their website. Encourage you guys to check them out. A couple free play arcades. I've been to a lot of these shows. I really like the feel of this particular show. Really decent turnout. Had a smaller feel, but it was really, really cool. A lot of cool people. Here is kind of the free play console area. And so, there's Saturn there to play. The TurboGrafx 16. Vectrix right there I'm spotting. A couple cocktail arcades. And for those who are wondering why they call them cocktail arcades, basically it's an arcade that you put your cocktail drink on back in the day. Here's a really cool museum area. And there are a lot of cool items from, the Super Scope 6, which I'm sure many of you guys remember, to the Commodore 64, the Atari computers. But once you get out of that room, you walk into this room here. This is the main room to the vendor hall. Here's where all the YouTube celebrities kind of are. And this is the first vendor. A lot of cool Nintendo carts. Nothing was crazy expensive, which is always good to see. I'm always worried about going to shows and being kind of expensive. That was not the case at this particular show. They had pretty decent pricing. Couple of box Genesis games, NES games. This is kind of where I was set up here. I was demoing a game, City Hunter, Chris the Maya in there. This is done by some of the crew that put this show on together. They put together Sac Anime, and that's a big anime show in Sacramento. So if you're also in the Sacramento area, check that out. So when you walk into the vendor hall, this is kind of what you see. A lot of cool vendors. I'm spotting Mega Man right there, of course. This is pretty sweet. But they had some anime guests or anime vendors. There's some other vendors. A lot of, everything was in casing and everything was displayed nice. I always dislike N64 games on top because you can't tell which games they are. There's no label. You can get custom labels to do that now, but still very, very frustrating. Super Nintendo, of course, a PS3, Xbox, a lot of cool merch. Star Wars, of course, a lot of classic Star Wars games. That green N64 is really cool. I think that was the Donkey Kong version from, I think, Toys R Us back in the day. It came with Donkey Kong 64. They were doing a Smash tournament here, and that was big. So they had tournaments going on throughout it was a single day event. It was only on a Sunday. So it's kind of unique that there was only one day and it was on a Sunday, but nonetheless, it was cool. They had cool tournaments. Some artist alley tables, I guess you'd call it, where people would sell their handmade items, which was sweet. This guy's making a purchase. Wheeling and dealing. And I recommend when you're at these shows like this, you can definitely, I don't know if the term barter would be the appropriate word, but you can definitely negotiate on the right price. So if you see a price, you can always try not to lowball them too much. Be respectful, but I think it's always worth doing a counter offer and see what they say. The worst they can say is no. There's guys selling some decals. Cool Pokemon earrings and stuff like that. A lot of N64. N64 is really hot right now. It seems like people are really into it. Secret Mana, one of the best games for the Super Nintendo RPGs. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. TurboGrafx 16, kind of unique to see these. You don't see these every day, obviously, even in shows, and some box cases. Really cool. They had Box 3, which went for quite a bit of money. It's a pretty rare game for that particular system, but there's a little Samson. I don't know how much they were asking for that one, but that's a really rare game for the NES, and that was box, so imagine you'd be paying a pretty penny. But some loose carts, of course. I'm spotting a Mega Man 2, some unusual ones. Some box one, Mario 3 in the corner there. That's one of my favorite Nintendo games of all time. I think it's, remember when Wizard came out in movies, and so stoked for that. Pixel art, really cool. And the pixel art, one of the pixel artists in particular was selling for super cheap. I was surprised. And really detailed. So you do tend to see a lot of these pixel art artists at these shows, which is great. Very unique. You can see the evolution of Mario I think that yellow one, I think he was selling for like 20 bucks. I was going to snag it, but the guy in front of me right before I was shooting that ended up snagging that particular item. But always want to support the local artist community. Super cool. And here is more N64 games and even Sega Master System games. Dick Tracy, a spot right there. That's a pretty unusual game for the Sega Master System, and I know it goes for a pretty penny. It's not cheap. There's some other games as well. Game Boy Color, GameCube. Some handful of systems. That red TV is unique in the back. I'm not sure what that's about. Some more artists. Now this shot was, I filmed this in the later part of the day, so the show was over at 5. I believe I shot this around like 3 or 4, so it was kind of later in the day, so it was busier than what this video appears, because in some shots it seems like it was kind of slower, and that's not the case. I'd say the peak time was around like 1 or 2. It got really busy, and it was a healthy show, and meaning that quite a few people, vendors were happy, which is good, and there were some panels. I did a panel, which is awesome. Had a good time. There's a Mark III, Sega Mark III, that was only in Japan, came out before I believe that's a Sega Master System clone. Mark II, there's a Mark I as well, which is unique. And here's Super Star Wars Street Fighter II box. I just missed that, but they just released a 30th anniversary edition, which doesn't make sense because that game came out in the early 90s. Street Fighter 1 came out 30 years ago, not Street Fighter 2, but I digress. Getting some more art. Power Rangers, the White Ranger. They had a room here that had some local indie devs, which is sweet. People who are releasing the game on Steam. We have at Game On Expo, the show I do out in Phoenix, we have the same kind of area where we support the local indie devs, and it's cool that they were here as well. But I encourage you guys to check it out. Sac Gamers Expo. It's once a year. Really fun show. Cool people. Very decent price to get in. Very reasonable. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, and game on.